Well, hundreds of area kids are student athletes who run the bases, work for a touchdown, or flip across a mat in hopes of winning. But a speaker at Central High School in La Crosse tonight told area athletes and their families what they're doing outside of practice could be costing them their gold medals. New at 10 tonight, News Channel 8's Cynthia Schweigert joins us now live in the studio with more on how one man says kids are poisoning themselves. Cynthia?
Well, Mike, it's no surprise that young people in our area drink and do drugs. And while we hear a lot about how that can be dangerous on the roads and streets of our community, student athletes are learning more about what it means when they step on the court. A drink here or a puff there might not seem like a big deal to some kids, but for area student athletes, getting caught means missing out on part of their season.
It's not uncommon that, a kid will have a code violation, and I can tell you the most typical code violation is alcohol possession or consumption.
To tell parents and athletes what that means, John Underwood, who has coached Olympic athletes, came to Central High School to explain.
I'm in sports, and I just feel like this is a good cause to come to learn about how alcohol and drugs affects how you play.
Underwood says the negative side effects are huge.
It's a metabolic poison. You don't take poisons in your body if you want to perform at an optimum level.
Drinking and doing drugs is pretty common for high school athletes. Underwood says about 60% of 12th grade athletes report having at least one drink during the school year, and that 1 in 5 smoke marijuana.
The student athletes we deal with are at that tender teenage years, and experimenting is part of it.
Underwood says his own experiments show that alcohol and drugs can really hurt performance.
We have so many kids thinking that you can be an athlete and do what everybody else does, and that's just not the way it is. You can do it that way if you want, it's just that you'll never see your full potential.
And for those looking to be in the 2% of high school athletes that go on to the college level, Underwood says what they do now could make all the difference for their future. Now, there were also a lot of parents in the audience tonight. Underwood says he wanted to educate them as well, since, Mike, they do often pay for things like equipment and training camps and all the things that go along with having a student athlete.
Yeah, and a lot of these athletes train so hard for the sports that they compete in. Did they talk at all about how much heavy drinking will affect that training?
Well, absolutely. I mean, it can affect your reaction time up to 12 hours after consuming alcohol, and it can also erase a lot of what you've already accomplished, up to 14 days of training that you've done.
All right, very interesting. Thanks, Cynthia. Well, Underwood says alcohol can also be blamed for injuries and says players who drink are twice as likely to get hurt.